Welcome to another episode of Let's Communicate. This is your host, Dolores Bunch-Keemer, and I have the distinct pleasure to introduce my friend, Jean Hudley. Jean Hudley is with Boys to Men. She's the executive director, and I'm going to let her tell a little bit about her organization. Here, Jean.
Hi, Dolores. Thanks so much for having me on your show. And to be able to talk a little bit about what we do actually collectively in different parts of the city. Our organization, again, is called Boys to Men, actually Boys to Men Home and Sanctuary for Youth. And what we do is we provide life skills for young men between the ages of 13 and 25, sometimes 35, 45, whatever the need calls for at that particular moment. We help young men with their transition from juvenile detention centers, if they have any kind of legal issues, if they're on probation, we help with that. And we also help young men who are doing well but just need some coaching in some other areas of their life, and expose them to different ways of living for those of them that haven't had that opportunity for whatever the reasons are. So that's what we do. One of the things that I also try to do is stay connected with the agencies that are effective in, or will have some effect on how our young people are corrected, educated, and held accountable, for any behavior issues they may have. So by doing that, I work with DJJ, and I also work with the Governor's Office of Prisoner Reentry.
I know that when we were talking about making a show, you said you definitely wanted to talk about recidivism. So tell everybody what your definition of recidivism is.
Well, recidivism is just the repeat behavior of committing the same crimes and going back to jail, prison, juvenile detention, over and over and over again. And much of that lends to the lack of any kind of bridge from the exit of a juvenile detention center, or if a kid has gotten into trouble and didn't make it to juvenile, there's still no bridge in place to make sure that they, don't repeat the behavior. And those bridges include a lot of services. They're not exclusive to just giving them a job or getting their GED. So much of the behavior stems from issues that go a whole lot deeper. So, they may need some mental health therapy, which is a problem in our communities because we don't understand that word mental health does not mean that you're crazy. It just means that you need some direction, whether it is just emotional or if you need meds. But we have to also make sure that we're not giving children meds who don't need meds. They just need structure. They need a lot of love and attention, and they need not to be punished forever for something they did 6 or 7 months ago or 6 or 7 years ago. Because if the truth be told, if we all got caught doing things that we do that we shouldn't do, we probably wouldn't have this conversation. So we just thank God for His grace Lots of grace. And, for allowing us to be here to teach our young. And so that, some of the mistakes that they make, other people make. And depending on your pocketbook or your racial background, you may be able to get through that and get through it in time enough to understand, wow, that was not good, and I'm very grateful, that somebody was able to step in.
Do you think that they're acting out? You think that they're acting out from things that are happening in their home life, and that's the reason why they're getting in trouble? Maybe some of that might be the issue. Other issues are that they don't have the money. Maybe they don't have money or don't have opportunities, and that might be an issue.
You're right. There are many variables for the reasons that they act out. And a lot of it stems from what's going on at home, or what didn't go on at home. So you'd be surprised at the kids that come to school who have been up all night. Well, I mean, they may have siblings that they're looking after. They may have a parent that is dealing with some drug addiction problems themselves, or other functional behaviors that keep their kids worried. Where's mom? Where's dad? Why they're not home? And many times these kids act as the parents. And they shouldn't be. I mean, I've heard so many stories where the kids are like, I told mama she needs to get some help, and so, or they're up dressing their siblings in the morning for school, because mom hasn't come home. In Chicago, I'm working with a young man whose initial objective once he arrived there. Now he's a former. He was a bank robber, and he was in prison 9 years. And he turned his life around. He's just a different person. And he's in Chicago, and he's now working with school systems. And he talks about the low attendance rate. And he's in the elementary school. He said the kids don't come to school. He said, so he's trying to get the city, to provide buses. So I said, you're right. I said, they need transportation, but you have to understand that this issue is so much deeper than what you see. Because part of that is, how about security? How about the parents that are worried about their kids going to school because of the community that school is in and all of the gang violence? So the kids have to walk to school, and the parents are fearful that they'll get hurt on the way, or the parents may work, or they may not work, or they may have other issues that have to be addressed in order to deal with the whole picture. And I told him, I said, I think that every parent in that city needs to get on a bus and go to Washington. We march for certain issues, but the important issues we don't march for. And they need to go and tell them that their children's safety should be the priority. Safety, education. And they need to be safe in order to feel safe about going to school. So that's one of the issues.
You and I both attended Commissioner Eve's Crime and Safety Summit, and we listened to his panel, which was very distinguished, top of every criminal disciplinary branch. And we talked about it afterward, and you tell me a couple of things that you thought, and then we'll discuss that.
Well, I think that what we heard was good. You know, overall, I think that we need to see more action. I think that for example, I'll use juvenile court because I was a volunteer in juvenile court for 8 years. So I know about the process. It was that experience that motivated me to want to start Boys to Men. At juvenile court, they have a couple of programs that have been validated because they are what they call evidence-based programs. However, they have a lot of other nonprofits in the courthouse that are providing service to our kids who are not evidence-based, but they're good enough to come in there and provide those services free. Which sends a kind of mixed message to me. I think that one of the problems that we frontliners have is that the areas that we're weak in, you know, when you got these 1 woman and 2 women shows, committed show stompers, you know, and you have others who are volunteers that don't have the same level of commitment, you know you have to have a paid staff. And so what I think would be at minimum, their call is to put professional people, place those professional skilled people at our programs to teach us those skills where those areas we're weak in, to strengthen those areas so that we can better qualify to receive funding to pay personnel to provide those services. We can't do it all, you know, and we don't know it all. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if they've got large corporations, like we'll say Coca-Cola, they have loan execs. They can put a loan executive at your location for a year. They pay them. And that loan exec, for whatever position they're filling, could work then at the end of that year. You're more equipped, you're better equipped to do it yourself and to hire somebody and raise the money to get it done.
Well, Jean, we got to go to break, but we'll be back and talk more with Jean Hudley of Boys to Men.
Tap Out Studios of Hollywood is one of Atlanta's newest visual and performing arts centers designed for you to perfect your creativity. Our 3,000 square foot event space includes a full bar, VIP section, movie screen, and 2 stages. Take advantage of our Spring Fling package deal for new and existing clients. Save over 40% when you rent our venue for $700 for events with more than 100 people. For booking information, contact Kendra at 404-578-1454. Located less than a half a mile off of I-20 off Fulton Industrial, we are Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, 620 Interchange Drive. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, inspiring creativity, changing lives, and making dreams come true.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Ooh,
it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's putitinwriting2.com.
Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let master sweet designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
We're back. This is Dolores Sponge-Kiemer with Let's Communicate, and we're talking with Jean Hudley. Hey, Jean.
Hey.
And Jean's with Voice to Men. She has a nonprofit that helps our youth in the community, and we are talking about recidivism and also the Crime and Safety Summit. We had kind of left off where we were talking about what were the real issues that we were discussing on break. We discussed a number of different things that we felt were relevant to talk about, and the topic that you brought up was that we're just not addressing some of the issues that we're really not facing forward, is that the parents need to take some responsibility for the kids getting in the situation that they are in, that we have no more trades in schools, that we have no more music in schools, that we have no more performing arts in schools, that we took this away from our children is a crime. And you can see them acting out now. They have no way to release their pressures. They have no way to direct their what they at the capacity that they can learn at. Everybody's not college bound.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
So, Jean, tell me a little bit about some of the things that you face, and you saw, and in comparison to what we talked about at the Crime and Safety Summit.
I think also one of the holes in our educational system, and that's both by the education that our families provide and our school systems provide. In the black community, black children don't know what the black culture has contributed. They do not know what their value is. They have no idea how important they've been and they are to the existence of this society. I have a board at the center, and it's got, I know, 100 black inventors on it, and you would be shocked at what we've invented. I mean, when the kids look at it, they're like, wow, we did that? I said, yeah, we did that. I was just introduced to the eldest black engineering firm in the country.
Wow.
1905. McKizak and McKizak. And it was founded by the girls, the daughters that are running the company now. It was their great-grandfather. And if you could read the story about how they told them that they weren't smart enough to take the class or pass the test, or all of the roadblocks that have been put in front of us to keep us from moving ahead. But these are two black women. Their mother is still living, and one runs. I'm talking about they're helping to build the World Trade Center.
Wow.
And the Manhattan, I think it's called the Manhattan Project. They got a contract that's either it's 25 years, going to take 25 years to fulfill it, or it took 25 years.
Wow. Wow.
And so that's the information that our children need to hear about. Who went to Tuskegee? Who graduated from Tuskegee?
Yeah.
I mean, that information
And what's
gives
important about
you
HBCUs,
pride.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Who started those colleges,
Right. And why did they start
And why
them?
did they start? And what was the true reason for Tuskegee being started, because Patterson, I think his name is Patterson, I always forget his first name. His objective was to provide an education for black children that wanted to go to school.
Right. But that's
So,
like
and-
Bethune-Cookman, same
Right,
scenario.
right. That wanted to go to school. So our kids don't know anything about that,
Right.
and that information isn't put in the textbooks.
No.
And we don't have a class like that
Right.
in these public schools.
Right.
All we hear about is Christopher Columbus,
Right.
who we know didn't discover anything.
Right.
So I mean, and we hear about white culture, and I don't think it's something that we should know about, but we need to know about our own.
Well,
and
it
I
should
think
all
it
be
applies,
integrated.
right? It applies to any culture.
Right.
Hispanic people should know about their culture.
That's right.
Right.
What their importance in the American
Right,
history
in
was.
American
I
history.
mean, we're at that point now. We're in 2014 now. We're at the point where we need to be integrated.
Absolutely. And I think that it's important that when you're in an environment where there is a primary show of, for example, if you're here, we have a lot of Hispanic
Right.
Residents,
Right.
and we have a black population,
Right.
and a Caucasian population. Okay,
Right.
well, all of those populations should be taught about the value of each.
Right.
And
Right. And their
and
their
how what they
contribution.
contribute,
Yeah.
right?
So they feel inclusive.
Right, absolutely. And so I know that that's one of our awful weaknesses, but the only way that changes is that
if
we
we
stand up
demand it.
and demand that it changes.
And see, that's what we're talking about now is the demand of the change. First off, my friend Lula Gilliam, she has a nonprofit, and she was on the show about 2 weeks ago. She also has a talk show, and what she was talking about on her talk show was that we should say sorry to our youth of today.
Yeah, yes.
For the last 2 generations, that's 20 years worth of kids, we have not, as parents, stood up and said, we want this for the kids. Do not take trades out of schools. Do not take music out of schools,
Right.
because our children don't learn that way.
That's right.
So, but we didn't do that. So now this is the reason why the kids are acting out. They need something to do. They need to make money. We didn't give them any skills.
Right, but you know what? I don't know that that is true as a blanket statement.
Right, of course.
Because one thing, there are many black men and women that run large companies, but you never hear nothing about them.
Right.
There are many more of them today than there were 20 years ago. Unless you get Black Enterprise magazine. Okay.
Right.
Or maybe Ebony or Oprah, the O magazine, where we have a vested interest in bringing to the public how black people have moved up in the corporate, on the corporate ladder. Okay. So but the issue is, like you said, everybody doesn't learn the same. And because they don't learn the same does not make them ignorant.
Right.
You know, I was a slow learner. I'm still a slow learner. You know, I got to read a paragraph 20 times. I can get the encyclopedia and everything else many times to understand what I'm reading. But I'm not ignorant. You know, I'm an educated person, a late bloomer, but I'm educated and educated in not just academia, in life, you know, and that's what's important. So I think that that's another failure of our educational system, that we don't find ways for our kids to learn. We don't find ways. They want to give them these tests. These tests.
CRC tests.
Yeah, the CRC test doesn't mean anything. I went to Chicago, to the Chicago Public School Conference, I guess about 7 years ago, and there was a guy teaching calculus through robotics, and I was like, "How you do that?" You know, and I was and I was looking at the kids that were there that he was working with, and I'm like, I was listening to the way they spoke. I was like, they didn't speak very well, you know. And he said, this is what you do. You show them how to put A and B together. And then connect A and B with F and G, you know. But you show them how to put the parts together. And then at the end of the process, you write out the formula. So you're not intimidating them. You say, this is what you did. This is calculus.
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, I loved it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
we need to do more hands-on teaching.
Right. Right.
Yeah. You know, you want to teach math. You know, when we were young, we used to use beads.
You're right.
You know, anything that's tangible is so many times a lot easier to grasp. And we have to remember that, like you said, the last 20 years we've been failing our kids. Part of that comes from all the drugs that has been put in our communities.
Right. That's what you're giving them as an opportunity to make money. So that's what they're going to do.
That's what, yes, right. And so you have pregnant ladies, girls, you know, babies having babies, you know, the kids are just filled up with crack or heroin or whatever the drug of choice.
What we feed them on television doesn't help anymore.
Oh, the television.
And isn't a drug like heroin and crack, aren't they aphrodisiacs anyway?
No.
They're not aphrodisiacs.
No,
Okay.
they're most of those aphrodisiacs are those hallucinogenic drugs.
Oh, I see.
Right.
But still, the part of it, the group is aphrodisiac. So therefore, when they look at the television, I mean, it's...
Yeah, and then too, you have to remember that the television says that if you don't have a car,
That's true.
a big house,
That's true.
you know, if your father isn't the president of a bank,
Right.
that you are nothing, that you are not important, that you're
Right.
not valuable. And that's not true.
Right.
And then the television shows them how to commit crime.
That's true.
And then the cartoons now show them how to have sex.
Really?
And the big butts. And, you know, the cartoons are terrible.
Yeah.
The cartoons are terrible. Some of those cartoons, oh my God, it is a sin.
Wow.
And then, of course, now, you know, everybody's lifestyle is acceptable, so that all of that's on television.
Right.
You know, so the child is totally confused. I need to know, do I need to have those sneakers? Am I going to be Mr. James without them? You know, and so we're sending these mixed messages to these children. And believe me, it's not just black children.
Right. Right.
It's not just black children.
Right.
Because you got little Caucasian children walking around with their pants sagging too.
When it goes into their community, they'll do something about it.
Well, I mean, it's already in their community.
I know, but you know, at the magnitude
same-
of epidemic,
right,
yeah.
right,
When
right.
it's an epidemic, then something
Right.
will be done.
And then see the Caucasian kids that do that, they're looking for attention also. They have a lot of issues in their communities. We just don't hear about it. It's not publicized the way ours are.
Right.
You see,
Well, that's the image that they want to project anyway
Oh
about
yeah.
African Americans.
Oh yeah. Right. That's all we do.
Right.
So the kids don't see the magazines that have 100 black business owners.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see that
Right.
because many of them, their parents don't get that magazine.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do a better job. Those of us that interact with them to educate them and show them and expose them.
Well, we're going to go to commercial break, and we'll come back with Gene Hudley and go on more about the subject that we're talking about, recidivism.
Tap Out Studios of Hollywood is one of Atlanta's newest visual and performing arts centers designed for you to perfect your creativity. Our 3,000 square foot event space includes a full bar, VIP section, movie screen, and 2 stages. Take advantage of our Spring Fling package deal for new and existing clients. Save over 40% when you rent our venue for $700 for events with more than 100 people. For booking information, contact Kendra at 404-578-1454. Located less than a half a mile off of I-20 off Fulton Industrial, we are Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, 620 Interchange Drive. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, inspiring creativity, changing lives, and making dreams come true.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Oh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's putitinwriting2.com.
Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let master sweet designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
Hey, this is Dolores Bunch-Keemer, and I'm back with Gene Hudley.
Hi.
And we're talking about recidivism and how that's affecting our youth as they're growing up. If you would like to join the conversation, our telephone number is 678-383-7623. So when we went to break, Jean, we talked a little bit about what's going on in the community, how we need to start working together as a group, as collaborators, and work together as true collaborators to get this job done. One of the things that happened this weekend that you may or may not know about is that a number of organizations came together, about 200 came together this weekend to do a huge job fair that was it was publicized on all the next networks. They did this here in Atlanta, and McDonald's was a founder of this thing. Sponsor. Founding sponsor, because they actually worked as collaborators with it.
Yeah.
And what they did is they came together and they got 400 children processed and working at McDonald's for the summer.
Praise God. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. I thought
That's
you'd be
awesome.
happy to hear.
I didn't know anything about
That's
it.
that's what having this network. We
It's
need to
so
start coming
important, so
together.
yeah.
It's very, very important for us to start networking together as group.
So we
That's
know
what I'm
what's
saying. That these
going
little
on.
silos are going on,
Right.
whereas we could come together, and you don't know what your input could
Right.
bring. I don't know what my input could bring,
Absolutely.
but the collaboration. But I will tell you that God is working, because there
Yes.
are things that are happening where
Yeah.
all of us are doing things to save the children.
Right.
So it's not just you and I that
Right.
recognize. There's dozens of people. Even our president recognizes it.
Absolutely.
He recognizes it through the excellence in education for African Americans, and
Mm-hmm.
he also recognizes it in excellence for education in Latinos. He is bringing together these pilot groups to talk about, this is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is the executive order that I give you, which is that we get these kids the tenfold he wants into colleges and universities by the year 2020. We can do that.
Right.
We can do it, but we've got to work together as a collaborative. We have got to work together to save our children, because if we don't,
That's right.
the child that we are not educating and just telling to do anything, he's going to get a job. He's going to be the mechanic that does your brakes, and you hope that he's educated enough for you to stop the car every time. And he's done the project well. So we've got to. What do you think about that, Jean?
Well, I think that actually he'll probably do a good job fixing our brakes, because he's probably been doing it a long time. He's probably been shade tree for a while. But no, in all seriousness, you're right. We really want to sharpen skills. We want to develop skills. My goal is to establish a residential program that will house a number of young men. Each group will be in the house with a set of parents, and we will be on a property that's a couple of hours outside of the city of Atlanta. We will have a gym. We will have an auditorium and classrooms. We will have a ranch with 20 horses. I'm interested in equine-assisted psychotherapy, which is an effective therapeutic model to change behavior. And also, I want to have training centers on that property where these young men will be taught technical skills. When they leave us, they'll be certified, and they'll be set up in their own businesses. Because one of the things that they don't understand is that every business owner out here that's ever started knowing nothing. I don't care if you went to a technical school and got certified, but you still don't know enough to run a business.
Right.
You know, I mean, that takes on-the-job learning, mentorship, counsel, and even when you graduate from college, and we get these degrees and we go into an office with all of our academia, and our boss teaches us to do it the exact opposite of the way we were taught in school.
That's true.
So So I think that with our kids, and especially the ones that we're having the problems with, they need to be taken out of the mix. Where they can concentrate.
Right.
And where we can concentrate on them, and then they can pull in their boys.
Right.
You understand? I
Right.
think they're the greatest mentors of their own folk.
Right.
Okay, so I think that's what we should do. Personally, I also think that as a part of our educational institutions, that we need to take our kids out of the country. They need to go to other countries
As
and
part
see
of
how,
it.
as part of the curriculum.
Yes.
To see how people live and to see that as rough as things are here, there are places that they're having a much harder time.
Right.
A much harder time. And they should be taken to the very wealthy areas where their people are located and housed, so they could see how they can live in their own countries,
Right.
in their own countries with their own folk. So when they come back, they have a different perspective about what the opportunities are here, because there are opportunities.
Right.
And yes, we have to struggle harder than some, but it's better for you to work than not,
Right.
okay? And that is either on somebody's job or work at whatever your goals are in life, whatever your passion is.
Right. I
You
get
know, so
I get you. I one of the things that I wanted to mention to you was that another initiative that we talk about, and a lot of this communication is being done on Twitter to the president.
oh, okay,
Okay.
all right,
The hashtag is, I gave it last week. It's AFAMED chat, and you can talk there by using that as the hashtag, so that everybody can see what input you have.
okay. So now you all gonna have to educate me.
Okay. Well,
I have heard this hashtag term, and I have no clue of what that means. So I guess when we get off the air, you can give me a class.
Yeah, I can give you
Okay.
There are two different initiatives under the President's Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
There is Girls Rising, and that's to talk about the examples that are used. And they had the second one down at the King Center, because when the president came out with the initiative in February, they had one at the King Center. Only 7 girls showed up, but that's because they didn't understand it.
Right.
Then the last one they had was in March, so they're going to have one every month, and they're going to teach girls what are other girls going through in the world. So these are little short snippets, about maybe 7 minutes long, that the girls see. One of the snippets was about a girl who was put into slavery by her own parents to pay a debt, and then she in turn went to different houses to live. How she was treated in those houses, she was treated like a subservient. Some of them she was given an education. The goal in their case was to give their child a better opportunity by being surrounded by rich people. So it's not that they're not looking out for their own child; they're trying to get their child a better opportunity than they could give them. But the girls, after that section was done, and there was many, they got the chance to express what they were thinking. Now you got 7-year-olds to 18-year-olds talking about what they saw. So that was with the girls. The boys went to My Brother's Keeper. My Brother's Keeper is about men coming back into the boys' life, because that's another big problem, is that our households are fractured.
Absolutely.
And the men coming back into the boy's life to say, what is it? How can I be your mentor? How can I be my brother's keeper, and see what are the things that you need to be successful?
And you're right, and that's a very, very important missing link in this breakdown of our young population, the absentee fathers. And I don't know, I know that I took some boys to a rally with Al Sharpton's organization one time, I guess about 5 years ago, and they were being interviewed, and the subject matter was, what did you think inspired gang violence? So one of them said peer pressure, and the other one said absentee fathers. And, he looked at his brother. They were twins. Mm-hmm. He looked at his brother. He said to the audience, I've seen our dad in 5 years. And he looked back at his brother. He said, well, has it been 6? And then he said, I don't know if I know what he looked like.
Oh, my gosh.
Then he said, so this is what I see as the problem. People need to stop laying down with people they don't like.
Or no. You met him the first time? Are you serious?
And I was like, yay! I was screaming. He was like, because when you lay down with people that you don't like and you make babies, then you get up and you leave us.
Mm-hmm. Responsible. If you don't want the child, we become responsible for it. That's why we have this recidivism of behavior over here at the hotels.
Right. And what about using protection if you're laying down with somebody that you don't like?
Right.
If you're laying down for one reason
or you
and
don't
one reason
know.
at all, right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very important, and I think again this problem is a big problem because also, and I have to speak to this piece, that a lot of times when women do not get along with their significant others for whatever reason, they keep them from their children, which is wrong.
Right.
Which is absolutely wrong. Now, if this person is abusive to the child, I mean, there's some mitigating circumstances that are an exception to the rule. But because you don't like this person, that's not a reason for you to keep him from your child. And it's not a reason for you to demean this man in front of his child.
Right. He was good enough for the day.
Right. Or the second or whatever.
Third, yeah. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and talk more with Gene Hudley of Boyz II Men.
Tap Out Studios of Hollywood is one of Atlanta's newest visual and performing arts centers designed for you to perfect your creativity. Our 3,000 square foot event space includes a full bar, VIP section, movie screen, and 2 stages. Take advantage of our Spring Fling package deal for new and existing clients. Save over 40% when you rent our venue for $700 for events with more than 100 people. For booking information, contact Kendra at 404-578-1454. Located less than a half a mile off of I-20 off Fulton Industrial, we are Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, 620 Interchange Drive. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, inspiring creativity, changing lives, and making dreams come true.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Ooh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They help my company tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, Put It in Writing wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's Put It in Writing, the numeral 2.com.
Our Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let master sweet designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
Hey, we're back and we're talking with Jean Hudley of Boys to Men. Hey, Jean.
Hey, I'm back.
And when we were on break, we talked about a number of subjects that have to do with recidivism. And one of the things we talked about was that we should make parents more accountable and active in the child's school, at home, and there might be some legal ramifications. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there should be legal ramifications. You know, I don't see how your kid could be out of school 10 days and you don't know it.
Right.
Now, of course, we would think that the schools would contact you and say your kid hasn't been to school 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no way that your kid is out of school 10 days and you don't know it.
Right.
I mean, and if you don't know it, then there's a problem.
Right. There's no more community involvement. So, you know, back when we were young, if we were out of school 10 days, not only would our parents know about it, the whole everybody in the
10
community.
minutes. If we were late going down the street, they were like, boy, girl, you just going to school?
Mm-hmm.
You miss your bus?
Mm-hmm. And be the first ones to tell your parents
That's
that you
right.
missed the bus.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think that once parents are held legally accountable, they'll change their attitude. They would have to.
Now, what would be a scenario of a parent being held illegally accountable? Would it be a fine? Would it be imprisonment?
It could be both.
Would it be some kind of parenting class, or?
It could, and of course, I think that life skills should be a part of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think it should be both, based upon the repetitive behavior. You know, if they're given a warning, you know, and they're put on some kind of probation or something for it in the beginning, you know, that's good. And then if they don't heed to that, then they get a monetary fine. And if that doesn't work, lock them up. Because those are their children.
Yeah. Well, that's better than sending the children to jail. Like that was the scenario that we saw at Commissioner East Summit, is that it's like the parents were blaming the kids.
Right.
How do you do that?
The parents are blaming the kids, and they're not taking any responsibility for what the kids...
And it doesn't matter if the child is not yours or not.
Absolutely. And now, there are some exceptions, and there are not a lot of them, but there are some exceptions where the parents are doing everything they know, and this kid just goes all the way to the right. Well, you know, and I have always suggested to parents, you know, you need to put them under court order supervision. Take them to court.
Yeah.
Go down and take your kids to court. You know, I mean, court order supervision is not a criminal issue. It doesn't create any kind of criminal record, but it makes them accountable to the court.
Right.
You know, until they can get through in their minds that this is no joke. You know, what you did could cause you a whole lot more pain than this. You know, you don't come home. I don't know where you are. You may be standing at a store with your boy and don't know he's getting ready to go and rob the store.
Right.
Then you go with everybody.
Right.
So they've got to understand. And at some point, you know, they say that the maturity age really doesn't kick in until about 25. That's a long time.
That's a long time. And we're forcing these kids to grow up at 11.
That's
The
a
youngest
long-
girl
yeah.
I saw over there was pregnant was 11.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And they have, 3 and 4 babies at that by that
By
time.
16, they have 3, 4, 5 kids.
I just did a tour at DJJ. It was Monday or Tuesday, and they was telling us that 15% of the young men that are housed in the juvenile system are fathers, and they are 17-year-olds with 2 and 3 children.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy.
Like 3 or 4 different girls?
They didn't
They
specify, but
they didn't
generally
specify.
that's the case.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Generally that's the case.
Wow.
So, so there's another, and with this this task force that we're working on with DJJ, there are different programs that are being put in place now to address this sex issue among our kids. You know, this unprotected sex before you're able to, sex before marriage, because you always tell them what's right. Then you
Now
go to
that's
plan
what you're
B.
teaching your kids. You don't
Right,
know.
right. But that is the objective of this program that is in partnership with DJJ. There are several agencies that are involved in revamping the juvenile justice curriculum. And they're wonderful projects.
Right.
We just have to push forward, stay in the mix to make sure that they follow through,
Right.
and get our kids involved.
Right. I think also that the kids should be at some of these round tables so that we can hear from them what we should do for their constituency. They should have like an election process. You be the one that's chosen to represent us, and then we have a kid sitting at the table.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because they should speak to their issues,
Right.
their needs. I think it's an excellent idea. I think that I have been talking to a couple of the young men that I've worked with over the years to serve on our board, because, again, like you said, they know what's going on in the community.
Right.
And they know what's going on in the hood. See, one of the things is that I think we have to teach them how to move up without feeling they're cutting off their folk while they're going through the developmental process.
Right. You mean
So,
they're friends? Or
they're
you-
friends, right? Because, I tell the young men, I said, look, you can go to school and get all the A's you want to get. You don't have to tell them you're getting an A. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say to them that you are in a program that's teaching you leadership skills. When you come through the neighborhood, you just go through and say, hey, what's up, y'all? I got to go. I got to do something for my mama. I'll see y'all later.
Oh, it's embarrassing to say
You
they're
know,
going home to do homework.
Oh, yeah. You know that. You can't be a nerd. You can't get your grades. Because then you're not hip. If you're not dumb. So.
But when they get in 11th and 12th grade, they see all their other peers are studying for exams and trying to get to school.
Yeah.
Then they feel like they're left out.
Right.
Then
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Then they're lamenting on everything they didn't do.
Right.
And they're feeling insecure, and then they may be calling their classmates all kinds of names because they
Ready.
didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Right.
So
They're not ready.
it's a vicious cycle.
I know it is a vicious cycle. So, what's in 2 minutes? What do you think our action plan should be?
I think that the parents have got to come together. The community, the parents of these children in these schools have got to come together and go to Washington. I just believe that should be at the head of the table, because one of the things is that we've got to get the tools that we need in these schools to help our kids.
Yeah.
and they are curriculums, they are computers. They got them on the north side of town.
Right.
They got everything they need over there.
Right.
The south side should have the same thing.
Well, the difference in the two communities is that the two communities get the same amount from the federal government. The difference is that in that community, the parents can afford to help come together in the PTA.
Yeah.
And they got one parent working, one parent going to the PTA meetings and all of that. They got a commitment for raising their child. Our kids do not have a commitment from two parents raising this child and making them self-sufficient.
And they have education, and they have the right complexion. So we have to remember that is not off the table. Okay?
Right, that's not off the table.
That is not off the table.
Just as far as curriculum is concerned, though, the school districts are paid the same. It's the parents' involvement that makes it different.
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough about that to really speak on it.
Yeah.
I do know.
I got that information from Kathy Cox when she was superintendent. She was saying that we were in a black area, and they came to the meeting, and the black parents wanted to know why their child wasn't treated like Gwinnett.
Right.
And she said it was because everybody gets the same allotment. It's the PTA and the parents' involvement. The parents over here are working two jobs, and they are not being able to get involved in their child's education versus the other area.
But tell me why that's an excuse. Because
no, that's all she's saying is that we didn't buy those computers. If they had computers there, we did not buy them. If they had a room for a paraprofessional to work with mentally, physically handicapped children, we didn't do that. The parents did.
Okay, well, that they shouldn't be bragging because that's not because it doesn't matter. And I've always believed this: if I have to pay for my child to go to a private school to get what they need, that's ridiculous to me.
Right.
And they go to a public school. They still have the same needs.
And you still have to pay the same tax. Yep, you're still paying the same taxes.
I don't think that's fair at all.
No, it is not fair. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair at all. I don't care if the parents buy it, bravo. But if the kids need it on the south side, that's what they need in order to graduate and be citizens that provide the skills that we need to keep our country going, to keep their families going, then we need to provide it. I mean, I'm 66 years old. I've been working a long time.
You got to rely on these kids that we're supposed to be educating.
Right, absolutely. And what about the taxes we pay?
They won't be paying taxes because they don't have any skill set.
Right, absolutely. So we really need to. I think that's the
Jean,
first
we
thing.
brought up so many topics today.
I know, we can talk about it.
We can talk about
forever.
it. Well, Jean, tell people how to get in contact with you over to Boys to Men.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Jean Hudley, and I'm the founder and CEO of Boys to Men. Our website is Boys. That's BOYS, the number 2, Men. It's MEN 4 FOR Life, LIFE.org. Boys to Men for Life.org. And my number is 404-550-2958. And that's how you can reach me.
All right. Well, Jean, we enjoyed speaking with you today. I think we learned a lot.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I look forward to speaking to you some more offline. In the meantime, the only way things will change is if people get involved. So everyone should be working to make the changes that they seek. Until next week, this is Dolores Sponge-Kiemer with Let's Communicate.